You're listening to a special edition of the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show, The Game Sports Show, live from Icebreakers Sports Bar and Grill. Host Dave McCaig coming to you live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Booyah! And it's time for the Game Sports Show, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. You're listening to the Game Sports Show on thegamesportshow.com, thegamesportsshow.podbean.com, or on the Scott Neeson YouTube channel. It is December the 2nd, 2018. It's yours truly, David McCaig, live from Icebreakers Sports Bar and Grill, and also powered by Northern Superior Brewing Company, the Sunday edition of the Game Sports Show. Scott Neeson is our board operator tonight, and here on the Sunday edition of the Game Sports Show, we have yet, and as always, an action-packed show for you here. Tonight, we have John Parco, the head coach of the Soo Thunderbirds, coming on by to discuss the update with the Soo Thunderbirds and their successful weekend that they had, winning 3 games this weekend and extending their win streak to 8 games. And we also have panel member Brad Coccimiglio, who unfortunately will not be able to come on location, but he will be doing a phone interview with his update with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds and also his updates from his end on the Soo Thunderbirds as well. John will be the first guest on the show and will be coming by after our first break, which will be just momentarily. Actually, just to give you, the listeners, a little update with getting into the week of the Game Sports Show. We do have a show live at the Wicked Sister, and that is from 6 until 8 on Monday, which is tomorrow, December the 3rd, 6 to 7 live on Eagle 95.1, 7 to 8 on the Podbean page and on the GameSportsShow.com and Scott Neeson YouTube channel. We will be at Sports Center Bar and Grill in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Myself, Jamie Antonello, and also Matt Primo. We also project Dustin Gronin and Justin Heichel to be by as well as Nathan Inch. Nathan Intercontinental Inch will be coming by to be able to do some wrestling segment as well with his wrestling character. That'll be at 9 p.m. at Sports Center Bar and Grill for its famous Wednesday 75-cent wing night. Thursday, the show will be at Northern Superior Brewing Company. We will be there at 7:15 p.m. on Thursday until approximately 8:30 p.m., where it will be myself, Dane Hantro, and Justin Heichel live on location. And we have a confirmed guest for that Thursday show, former North Stars coach and also current Soo College Cougars hockey coach, Mike Hall, will be coming by as well to discuss the Soo College Cougars as they continue their homestand for the month of December. And also, this week we will be doing a recording with Craig Hartsburg. It might be incorporated into the Thursday show, or it might be uploaded as its own personal edition, where Craig Hartsburg will do his first edition show of his power rankings in the National Hockey League and give a little bit of extra opinions with the NHL and also some potential discussion with the OHL Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. Craig Hartsburg will be doing some special edition uploads throughout the entirety of the year and going forward with the Game Sports Show, just doing some updates on the hockey scene and also giving his grades and power rankings and just his opinions in general in a specialty occasion, which we plan to be once a week, or it might be once every 2 weeks given the schedule. But make sure you keep an eye on our Facebook page, which you can follow at The Game Sports Show, or on our Instagram page, our newly launched Instagram page at The Game Sports Show SSM, for those uploads with the one only Craig Hartsburg. Now, as I mentioned at the top, we are here live at Icebreaker Sports Bar and Grill. We will be here every Sunday at 9 o'clock, so next week, along with all that shows that we have going on and the uploads, we have the final show this upcoming week being on Sunday here at Icebreakers Sports Bar and Grill, where we will be doing a recap of the sports locally at its majority with some other potential news as well. Be yours truly and Brad Coccimiglio being the main host here discussing local sports, as we'll have head coach John Parco by next week as well. We also hope to have players, Caden McDonald from the Soo Thunderbirds, as we plan to have by after the game on Saturday, which will be a pre-recording for our Sunday show here at Icebreakers. The Game Sports Show will be at the John Rhodes Community Centre on Saturday as the Soo Thunderbirds play host to the Soo Eagles, and we'll be doing some post-game interviews with reaction from the players and coaching staff for the Friday-Saturday night melee between the Soo Eagles and Birds. And we'll also have John Parco by again on Sunday to do another recap with the whole entirety of the weekend as the Thunderbirds are away at Rayside on Sunday. If there's any issues with clarity of understanding what shows are going to be playing and when, do not hesitate to reach out to yours truly, Scott Neeson, or anyone on the panel to explain again. But Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday are your nights for the Game Sports Show, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. And if you listen to the show on the website, don't hesitate to veer over to the merchandise section and look at the t-shirts. The $25 proceeds going towards Northern Critters Need and Big Brother, Big Sister. This week we will have shirts available for purchase, not only just on the website where you can follow the direction, but we'll also have it at Sports Center Bar and Grill. And you're also able to purchase the shirt through Northern Superior Brewing Company, or you can ask Trevor Zachary at Soo Thunderbird Games as well, and he'll give you my contact information to do an order through the Soo Thunderbirds. Now, before we go to break, just a little bit of a recap of what's going to be on tonight's show. We have John Parco, the head coach of the Soo Thunderbirds, going to be coming on by. Brad Coccimiglio coming on by after John Parco. Then I will be concluding the show discussing some Soo College Cougars hockey. We're going to try to put in the Soo College Cougars hockey in the Brad Coccimiglio conversation. However, based on some time constraints, we might not be able to put that in. And if we're not, I do promise I will cover some Soo College Cougar news to conclude the show. And then I also have a bonus topic that I want to discuss to conclude the show. That's going to be a teaser for our Thursday show at Northern Superior Brewing Company. The long-awaited, let's say, watch has come to an end. And yours truly is going to give a little bit of reaction and just an update on that particular piece of news. So as I said, action-packed show as always. And as I said, very busy week locally here in the Sault Ste. Marie and in the Twin Saults. Reminder, starting with the Soo Thunderbirds, you can check it out at the Soo Thunderbirds website. They play this upcoming weekend, Friday, December the 7th at Puller Stadium at Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan at 7:30. And then the Soo Eagles play here at the John Rhodes Community Centre against the Soo Thunderbirds at 7 p.m. on December the 8th. December the 9th, the Soo Thunderbirds play against the Rayside Balfour Canadians. So that's recapping the Soo Thunderbirds' upcoming schedule. For the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, they play this week Wednesday against Flint at the GFL Memorial Gardens at 7:07. They're also home Friday and Sunday. Friday at 7:07 against Guelph, and Sunday against the Barrie Colts. Now, with the Soo College Cougars, they also had two games this weekend that I'm going to be discussing a little bit later in the show. They will be off this upcoming weekend, but they do play the following weekend against Saginaw Valley, and that is at 8 o'clock and 3 p.m. December 14th and 15th. People were asking about what happened to this upcoming games against Davenport. We'll have an update and discussion of that with Mike Hall on our Thursday edition of the Game Sports Show. Now going over to the Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan schedule update. Going with the LSSU Lakers for their updates in terms of schedules. They play Friday, December the 7th against Alaska at 11 p.m. They also play Saturday against Alaska at 11 p.m. as well. They do not return home until January the 11th. That's Friday, January the 11th against Alabama Huntsville at 7 o'clock. They also play Alabama Huntsville on January the 12th at 7 o'clock. Both games at 7 respectively. They are on the road up until then. They got a game at Little Caesars Arena for the 54th Annual Great Lakes Invitational against Michigan State on Sunday the 30th. And then they also play Monday the 31st. It's to be determined based on that game. They play against Michigan State. Lake Superior State is now 6-1 for the season. And at home they're 2-5-1, and away they're 5-1. They have lost 3 in a row going into their next set of games, going into this upcoming weekend against Alaska. Now, with the Soo Eagles, we already know that they play home and home this Friday and Saturday, as I mentioned, against the Soo Thunderbirds, but they play Monday as well, December the 10th. They play in Blind River at 7 o'clock, and that is for this upcoming weekend. So it's an action-packed weekend all around in terms of hockey in the Twin Saults. As always, you can get out and watch some good home and home action between the Eagles and Birds here at the Polar and the John Rhodes respectively. You can watch the Hounds Wednesday and then also Friday, Sunday with the GFL Gardens, which is nights off between the Thunderbirds from being at home here in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. So there's a lot of options to watch, and also we have some goods news to catch up with in terms of keeping an eye on LSSU being away at Alaska as well. Now, without further ado, we're going to take our first break. John Parco, anxiously awaiting to come on here on the Game Sports Show, head coach of the Soo Thunderbirds. We're going to hear from our sponsors, and when we come back, Here on the Game Sports Show, the Twin Sault's only local regional national sports show. John will be joining us. Don't go anywhere.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Pulley Museum, right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a northern thing.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and special edition home to the game, Silver Creek Golf Course, located on 104 Bellow Lake Road, Garden River, Ontario. And also shout out thank you to Silver Creek GM Jamie Henderson. Silver Creek Golf Course has many specials to offer for 18 holes, 9 holes, and even Twilight Deal specials. It does not matter what your level of golf game is, it is a must to enjoy the scenic course, memorable experiences that Silver Golf Course offers. Silver Creek also offers a Thursday wing night for you to enjoy food after a stellar time on the course. You can book your tee time by phone or online at golfsilvercreek.com. Silver Creek Golf Course, where all are welcome to play.
Hi, it's Craig Hartsburg, former NHL player and NHL coach. Welcome to the Game Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. It's yours truly, David McCaig. You're listening to the Game Sports Show on thegamesportshow.com, thegamesportshow.podbean.com, or on the Scott Nason YouTube channel. And as I said before I went to break, I was bringing by a good friend of mine, head coach of the Soo Thunderbirds, John Parco, not a stranger to the show. Very successful weekend for the Soo Thunderbirds this weekend. Johnny, how you doing, my friend?
Doing very well, Greg.
We're here up at Icebreakers, enjoying a nice beverage. We're after a very successful road trip that you guys had. You went 3-0 on the road trip. You ended up defeating Blind River. It was 6-4 on Friday. Saturday in Elliott Lake it was 6-5, and then today you actually played against Espanola and it was 7-5. Very high scoring games this weekend.
Yeah, we scored a lot of goals. That's always a good thing.
Yeah.
You know,
But
whether we should have defended a little bit better, that's another story. But
did they leave the goalies out to dry on the road this weekend? Or what?
You know what? Actually, it was just a weird 3 games. You know, we didn't. I don't think we played. We probably played our worst 2 periods of the year against Blind River, and then
you guys
we were down and we weren't intense. We didn't come to play. We just weren't ready. And they're a very, very fast team. They can skate, and they pressured us hard, and they brought the game to us, and we sort of we didn't answer the bell, and then thankfully the second half of the game was a little different. We came. We picked it up a little bit, and we were able to get some goals.
You were down 4-0 in the second period of Blind River.
Yeah.
And you got 2 goals also in the second period. So you battled back. It was 4-2 going into the intermission.
Right.
Then you guys exploded for 4 goals in the third period. One thing that stood out, obviously, power plays were as many for both teams that night. Blind River had 6, you had 10 respectively. Obviously, a typical game between Blind River and the Thunderbirds that dates back to how many years ago. But what brought back this success in the third period? What was it? Did you go in the locker room? Did you do the old-fashioned kick the garbage can, or what happened?
Jesus. No, I didn't do that after the second period.
No.
It came a lot earlier. But no, joking aside, like I said, we just weren't ready to start that game. I was shocked that we weren't ready to play them, and I wasn't happy that we didn't come to play, but the good thing is that we stepped up in the third period, not necessarily the third period, even most of the second.
Yeah.
They scored 2 goals in the second period in a matter of like a minute or so, and then from then on we stepped it up and we battled them at least, and we gave them a game.
Yeah, and it was like between Luke and then we were talking about before when on air, Nick Smith had a very good, just one of those weekends where you go home after the 3-game weekend, you put your feet up and say, yep, I had a great weekend. That's guaranteed what he's saying. Even with Katie McDonald, Luke, who only played 2 games this weekend because he had an injury that forced him not to play for the third game this weekend. But that line was firing all cylinders. Also, Gage had a good weekend as well. It seemed like all around that scoring with Avery Rebick too, everything's just clicking. And that you're the type of team, it doesn't matter if you're down 4, 5, or 6-0. It's either if you go, and this is a little joke here, but if you go kick the garbage okay, maybe that wakes them up. But besides that, you got all joking aside though, you got the team that can get the job done to battle. It seems like with your team from watching games that you guys battle from as soon as that puck drops until the final buzzer at the end. It doesn't matter if you're up 5, doesn't matter if you're down 4, it just doesn't matter. Is that what you try to put in their heads, is that you just play the full 60 minutes?
You know what I really put in their heads is just to play the game in the right way.
Yeah.
And that's that's playing an honest game with intensity and following our systems and playing defense and I think the offense will come if you're playing the game properly.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny when you're playing. You start cheating in little spots all over the ice, and it sooner or later it's going to bite you in the butt. And that's just the way the game is, and probably always will be.
That's the beauty of it. Hockey, especially in the NOJHL, the game is so fast out there, and I think it's really built for your team. When you see your team out there, you got some guys who can have a little sandpaper out there. One guy who's notably not in the lineup still. I believe he's back in a couple next week, maybe a Bears end. I think is back. Bazarin, sorry, I always butcher. Even Trev Zachary gives me a little grief for that. But you have the guys who can push back, but they're just effective, and the chemistry on the ice is fantastic. And Luke said that in the interview that we had a couple weeks ago, that the boys they're clicking since day one. And this weekend you went on the road for 2 games, and it's not easy going into Elliott Lake. It doesn't matter what the standings say, what the difference between you both that the NOJHL is not as spread out as it used to be, where Manitoulin Islanders were in the league and they were a 1-51 team. No offense to Manitoulin, but when you go into their barn to play, that's almost a for sure W. Okay, every game that you play in the NOJHL is going to be a hard game to play. It doesn't matter who you play. And you went into Elliott Lake and you played in overtime. First overtime, you guys won 6-5 against Elliott Lake. And between Elliott Lake and Espanola, Elliott Lake has a pretty good fan base there in Elliott Lake. Yes. They have a good program. What was the success? How did going 2-0 on the road? Because it's hard to play on the road. You're traveling. It's you played at 2 today. Quick transition from last night. So
3-3 is. It's never ever easy for anybody that's ever played it.
No.
So getting up for 3 games in 3 nights, especially when you're playing one at home and then you're leaving right away and playing another one, and then the 2:00 game this afternoon. So we have a lot of injuries unfortunately right now, and we got 2 kids out with concussions. Luke unfortunately took a knee to his thigh and has a Charlie horse, and Camp Finley, who's been a workhorse for us all season, is out with a little bit of a shoulder injury, nothing serious, but the one thing after another, next thing you know, we're playing with seven forwards and 5D.
Yeah.
And that makes it.
I saw your roster today. It didn't even look like you. Looks like you almost only had just under 3 lines, like you're just saying there. So.
And then next thing you know, it's a whole different ball game. So like you said, every game there's never an easy game.
No, and that's what makes the NOJHL so credible. That's why scouts can come watch the NOJHL now and know they're going to get. You got teams that, if you would think of a team like Espanola, Elliott Lake, or even Blind River, and I can tell you from playing there and experience or coaching there and experience that you have the market there that's good, but everyone figured Blind River and those smaller towns not to be as successful as teams. Yeah. But look at Blind River. They had an 0-52 season. They came back the next year and almost made the finals, and they did make the finals the year after that. Last year they didn't make the finals last year, but it's all around even in the NOJHL.
Yeah, of course, and you know what? And that gives a lot of credit to the coaching staffs and the teams, the management of these teams. They work very, very hard. You know what? I honestly don't think a lot of people realize the hours and hours that are put into recruiting.
And how it is.
Yeah, even us. And I talked to Jamie DeSano this summer. I haven't had the opportunity to talk to Kyle or Rick about this, but I know that he puts in hours and hours of work. I know what me and Mark DeSano and Toots Kovacs put in for recruiting. And we're going to get 90 no's for every 1 yes.
Yep.
You're constantly on the phone and on the internet and looking for players it's a lot of work finding players and to come up and play in the Northern Ontario Junior Hockey League. And you know what? In the end, it's kind of amazing that we can all put competitive teams on the ice.
It is, and it's very exciting to watch. I know there's a good story with Caden McDonald, but we're not going to get into that right now. I'm trying to save the Caden McDonald story for next weekend that you share with me. But what I noticed, I know Cullen Horn's been getting a lot of the majority of the games, it seems like. But this weekend we had William Anderson played back-to-back. He played Saturday, and then he played today as well. Was there just you got good goalies there either way between the two guys that are in net. But was there a reason why to have William play both games, or was it just because of strong performance, or what?
No, not at all. It was just I don't really base things on a lot of different scenarios. I know Colin's been really solid for us, and he's played a few more games than Willie.
Yep.
But we feel confident in both of them.
Yep.
And we wanted to get Willie a couple games, and Colin had played a lot of hockey in the last little bit. He was away with the team NOJHL West.
Yep.
He was away with them. He was playing some back-to-back games, and we just felt there was an opportunity to get Willie some games, and that's all.
Yeah, and that's good. It's good to, like I just said, and you said, two good goalies. Yeah. Either way, it doesn't matter who you put in net for you guys. And today with Espanola, they did outshoot you guys 33-32 just by a shot. And it seems like an even second period, it was 11-11 the shots. The third period, they outplayed you by but had 4 more shots than you guys did. Do you feel that the higher shot total for Espanola, is it because that it's not an excuse, but it's harder to play that short change? You come into play, it's difficult. Like the 3 games and 3 nights.
I honestly, if someone didn't tell me what the shots were at the end of the game, I wouldn't even
noticed.
Yeah, I wouldn't even have noticed. Really. I don't know. Like there's so many people that are really into these stats. And 0.1 and 90.1 and 90 point this. And we had 7 shots. You only had 8. Well, we had 10 shots. You only had 7. Well, I had 5 breakaways. You had 4 shots from the point. It's just this. It's a little game.
And some shots are from the outside. Some shots.
I really don't put too much. Emphasis on that.
But definitely a successful weekend. Having 3 games in 3 nights. Usually people predict a team to go 2-1 or 1-2 in those because of the rest circumstance. But the way you guys play this weekend, going away with 3. Now going into next weekend, you're again playing 3-3.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a home and home against the border battle, love to call it, the Soo Thunderbirds and Soo Eagles. You're at the Polar Stadium Friday at 7:30, the good old Polar Stadium where they have the Polar Burgers. Very hostile atmosphere. It doesn't matter if you're playing if you're the Birds or Blind River, whatever the team may be. If you're on Blind River, they throw a beaver tail in the middle of the ice sometimes. I don't know if you've ever seen that. The Birds, I know one time when I was there, they threw a stuffed bird on the ice one time when they beat us. So very hostile environment at the Polar Stadium. But then Saturday, you're back here at the Roads at 7 against the Eagles, and then you got Rayside Balfour on Sunday at 6:30. So you got at least you're home for those 2 games. There's not much travel involved. Then it's a later game on Sunday. At least it's not 2:00. So what's the plans going into this weekend for those 3 games?
Well, you know what? It's 3-3 this weekend, and another 3-3. Tomorrow will be a day off. We'll have a goalie practice. Just the goalies come down and work with Terry Barbo.
Yeah.
And so it's a day off for most of the team. There'll be a couple shooters out there, but we invite our AP players, our affiliate players, the younger kids to come out and do some shooting. So our team basically has a day off.
That's good. I think it's deserved after 3
well deserved,
Especially with some injuries you're battling. It's very important.
Exactly. And, and then it'll be a pretty regular week from there. Tuesday practice, Wednesday practice, a gym workout on Tuesday, a gym workout on Wednesday, and then we'll watch some video on Thursday for the Eagles game, and then we'll go from there.
Any improvements you want to see from this weekend going into next weekend's games without leaking any kind of strategies?
No, it's not. No, I honestly, I know I'm very happy with the 3 wins.
Good.
But in all honesty, I wasn't happy with Friday night's performance. Saturday, believe it or not, even though it was a really close game, it was just a lot of stuff that just sort of went kind of weird throughout the game, but I was happy with the way we played.
Yep.
And then today was just it was a game where we knew it was going to be like this. We had defensemen playing forwards and forward playing defense, and it was just one of those games where
short
we had
bench too.
short bench, and you just had to sort of it's like the water sneaking through the dam, and you just corking it here, corking it there, and
They must love the ice time, though.
man, there was
there's no one looking up.
no one looking up saying,
is it my turn?
Is it my turn yet? Yeah, no.
Joey Miller was one of those type of players. Just kidding. I was actually one of those type of players sometimes. But Nick Smith had a successful weekend. Katie McDonald had a good weekend. Yeah. Everything's clicking for those two guys, it seems like. And obviously, Luke Terrio, we've talked about Luke a lot on the show. Yeah. But Nick, it seems like he likes to also pass the puck before he shoots it. From what I've watched, and based on statistics, very good playmaking player. Would you consider him a playmaker, or would you consider him
100%. He's a very complete player, and that's one of the things that I've noticed in Luke's game since we got him from Kitchener last year, is his overall defensive game is phenomenal right now. He plays a complete, solid game. He's always back, defending in the right position in the D zone. He's playing a really, really solid game. He moves the puck well. He's obviously we knew he can score.
Yeah.
And he can score, and I'm happy for him. I'm really happy for him. He's worked hard to do what he's doing right now.
A couple more things, Coach. Status of Luke Terrio. Is it day-to-day, or is he going to be practicing this week?
He's day-to-day, and we think, we're assuming that he'll play on Friday. So
yeah, and that's good. It's good to have that full lineup. Hopefully you don't have another 6 forwards and 5 or 7 forwards and 5D. Yeah. It gets a little intense and a little bit stressful if you're the coach. Now, this, again, going into the Christmas break, and this is the last thing we'll bring up before we let you go. You got that 3 games this weekend, 3 games next, and you got 2 the following weekend, and then you got 1 before you go on Christmas break. Right. So you got a pretty intense schedule going into Christmas. Obviously, it's December month. It's like they're cramming games. Yeah. Just make sure everything works. What is the important thing that you think the guys have to do to be focused? Because I love this saying. I had somebody tell me one time that if you play too much hockey, not only does it tire you out, it tires you out mentally in terms of you lose that motivation to go to the rink because of being exhausted. I thought I was floored to hear that because you love putting on the skates, but at the same time you get it after you play a lot of hockey. But what keeps the guys focused?
Focus is it's really very individual, right? Mm-hmm. When you're hungry and you create a good team atmosphere and you make it fun for the kids to come to the rink, usually, at least it makes it easier for those grinding, the grind of the season, right, where you're playing a lot of games.
Yep.
So, it at the higher levels of the game, there's so many people that say the game becomes so mental and so being prepared mentally.
Yeah. And mental preparation is so huge.
Yeah,
now.
So huge.
Like it never used. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it never felt like it used to be. When you think of games, and I'm acting like I'm 50 years old over here, and I shouldn't be, but even when my dad said when he played, it was physical. You just went out there, you just had to make sure your body was good shape because you weren't out there with no helmets. So when you get into the 90s and helmets were actually were a thing, then it's really big, that mental side of the game now. It's absolutely huge.
It's huge, and it has been for a while, obviously. There's sports psychologists that have studied years and years of school to get players prepared for games, and and there's just the whole science around it.
Yeah.
And
now there's
getting
stats.
it's getting yourself into a routine and being motivated and concentrating and so on and so on. It's just it's half the battle.
It's going to be a very exciting time going down the stretch till Christmas. And then you guys got obviously a busy January as well. It's going into the, I can't believe it's already Christmas time, Coach. It seems like, yesterday we were just at Northern Superior talking about the beginning of the season before you went on that D3 trip. This is an update in the standings. Thunderbirds are 22-5-0, 44 points, 27 games. Rayside Balfour, whom has played 30 games, is 16-11-1-2 for 35 points. Blind River is tied with them in 30 games, 15-10-4-1. What I like to say about the Western Division is I don't mean this in a way to toot anyone's horn or anything, but it seems like the Thunderbirds have a big distance on the lead, but I will say that the Western Division is very tight and anything can happen over weeks. But obviously you must be very pleased of how the guys are playing right now.
Yeah, you know what? I'm very, very happy with the success of the team so far, but but I'm not naive, and I know that we talk about it's already Christmas, but the huge part of the season still has to come. So
Yeah.
You know, there's still a lot of hockey to be played, and
Yep.
you know, we just have to keep working and keep getting stronger and keep having fun.
Yeah, but the playoff hockey is obviously different when that time comes.
Exactly.
Different cookie.
That's a whole different, you know.
Different. It is. It's when you're.
Different game.
I'm always a fan of saying that the two-way players. It's not even the top two line guys. It's those third and fourth line guys and your goalies that win you those championships. No pressure to the goalies. I'm just saying. You know, it's definitely gonna be exciting going down the stretch. Johnny, I want to say thank you for your time. We'll let you go, and we'll talk to you next weekend in between your 3-game weekend again next weekend.
Thank you.
Of course. We're going to be right back here on the Game Sports Show. When we come back, Brad Coccimiglio joins me. We're going to talk a bit more local hockey in terms of the Soo Greyhounds, and we're also going to talk about the Soo Thunderbirds NLJHL a little bit more, and then I'll be diving into a little bit of update with the Soo College Cougars hockey as well. Don't go anywhere. Just hear from our sponsors. You're listening to the Game Sports Show.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and additional home to the Game Sports Show, Sports Center Bar and Grill. Sports Center Bar and Grill, located on 624 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Sports Center rated top sports bar for the second year in a row. At Sports Center, enjoy their famous 75-cent wing night along with delicious Molson products on tap, along with a great atmosphere and other great food options available as well. Sports Center Bar and Grill, the Soo's best sports bar.
Get wicked at the Wicked Sister. You'll find the best tasting food for the whole family. Start off with some appetizers like the crab dip, served with warm non-bread strips and soft pretzel bites, or their antibiotic and hormone-free boneless chicken wings with 5 choices of sauces. Entrees include the barbecue pulled pork sandwich, the #1 selling drunken cow burger, or Philly cheesesteaks, and they're on special all day Thursdays. The Wicked Sister also offers a gluten-free menu and catering. Bring the whole family. The Wicked Sister, downtown Ashman Street, open 7 days a week.
Hi, this is Joe Bowen, and you're listening to the Game Sports Show from Sault Ste. Marie.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Yours truly, David McCaig. I'm here live at Icebreakers Sports Bar and Grill, and that is brought to you by and powered by Northern Superior Brewing Company, along with, of course, Icebreaker Sports Bar and Grill, covering everything local here in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and also Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. And one individual that I'm going to bring on right now is one of my panel members, one of my good friends, and as always, going to get a great introduction, great hair, great smile, just a great all-around guy, and one of the busiest sports guys that I've ever met. And that is saying something. I promise you that I do know some people in sports. It's not like I only know a selected amount. But one and only, Brad Coccimiglio. Brad, thanks for joining us. I know you couldn't make it on location, but thank you for taking the time to do something through the phone, my friend.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's always good to chat local sports. That's for sure.
Yeah, it is. You know what? And it's been requested by the listeners to have some additional, not more, but additional local content. So we're going to be bringing them as much local content as we can here on Sunday nights from Icebreakers, if you're here live or if it is on the phone. Listeners, I will say that Brad is doing the phone interview instead of in person. So if you're having some trouble hearing, please turn up your volume or please give us some feedback just so we can make your experience better in the future. But according to what I have and with producer Ghost and with our board op Scott Nason, it seems like everything is recording quite clearly. So, Brad, but we're going to jump right into right now talking about the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about the Thunderbirds. We did have head coach John Parco come on, and he was pretty excited about the successful weekend that they had, winning 3 games. But also, the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds were in action this weekend. Now, they didn't win all 3 games this weekend, but they still had a pretty successful weekend, you know, if you want to consider Thursday being a weekend game. But the Hounds did lose to Windsor 3-2 in Windsor in a tight game. They played Saturday against Saginaw, defeating them 7-4, and then they played today, I should say rather. They defeated Flint 5-3, and a little bit of a redemption game, that I like to call it, as they did have a more successful outcome against Flint this time around. Brad, I want to talk about the first game, Thursday against Windsor, and we'll go into to the rest of this weekend that just occurred. Then we'll promote the games that are coming up this week for the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. Tight game against Windsor and a tough loss.
Yeah, you know what, that was a game that, you know, talking to John Dean, you know, he felt it was, you know, a little on the sloppy side, and you know, and for both clubs, you know, that was a game where they had some chances. They were still in that game, although they weren't happy with the way they played. And you know, for that team, it's, you know, I mean, you battle some consistency issues when you lose the amount of talent they did from last year's group, and this team's kind of learning its way, finding its way, so to speak, and they're in a position where they still play that puck possession, up-tempo puck possession style, and it works, and it's that's a team that again as a young club is going to have some struggles like that once in a while, and it's a group that's been able to bounce back. We saw it this weekend. They struggle in Windsor and then go into Saginaw with a much better effort and pick up a win. So for them, it was a tough Windsor team. They got some solid goaltending out of Michael DiPietro too, which helped the Spitfires in that game as well. And for the Grounds, again, it was just one of those nights that you adjust, you kind of get on the bus, you adjust, you move on and move forward, and that's exactly what they did over the weekend.
So they go into Saginaw. Okay, they win the game 7-4. Outcome that they definitely prefer. Good battle back from the game that they had in Windsor. They're winning 7-4 against the Spirit, and they outshot the Spirit 35-33 in the game. And the Saginaw came on pretty late in that game. They got 2 late power play goals in the third period, 13-35, then 15-15 to make it a little bit interesting, to make the game 6-4. And then you had Morgan Frost, who got an empty netter with 17-47 as Saginaw pulls the goalie a little bit earlier to try to get the couple goal differential back. Now, what was the difference that you noticed between the two games with the Hounds that they played Thursday and then what they played on Saturday against Saginaw? Or did they play just the same game and they were just able to capitalize on their opportunities more?
Yeah, the style doesn't change night to night. I mean, we talked about it already that, it's a team that, they play that style, they play that puck possession style, and, when it's on, you see more of, nights like last night against Saginaw. That was a team that, the score might even be, a little flattering. Saginaw scores 2 late power play goals, one was on a 5-on-3. So, that's a game that's probably not quite as close as, a 6-4 score late, turning into a 7-4 game with an empty netter. That was a game that, I don't think, looking at it, I don't think the Greyhounds were ever, in any danger late in that game. That's a group that, their big guns come to play. Morgan Frost had, I believe, 4 points in that game. Keegan Howdeshell had 3 goals and 4 points in that game. And,
yeah.
And that's without Barrett Hayton as well. I mean, we have to remember Barrett Hayton didn't play either game this weekend.
Yep.
He played in Windsor and then tweaked something on Saturday morning in the morning skate and was held out as a precaution for the rest of the weekend. So, that makes a difference as well. I mean, if Barrett Hayton plays in that Saginaw game, who knows, maybe they don't give up, maybe they don't give up one of those power play goals. They end up winning that game, 7-3, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those things that, I mean, I don't think that game was ever in doubt, and, they're big players, not that they haven't come to play, but they're big players, really capitalized on opportunities and really had big nights against Saginaw.
Definitely, for a hat trick for Keaton Howdeshell was definitely pretty fantastic to get a great feeling to get a hat trick, especially in the Ontario Hockey League. Now, they go, I will say, against Saginaw, there's a guy from Sault Ste. Marie that I got to give a shout out to, Nicholas Parco, who is from Sault Ste. Marie, was drafted to Saginaw this year. This little update, he has played 27 games and has 18 points in the season, just for an update with that. But now, Brad, moving forward, Flint, they go into today and they win 5-3 over Flint. Having when you say 3 games in 4 nights, which is a tough schedule for anybody, the Birds just finished 3 games in 3 nights. That's the way the junior structure kind of is. It's a lot of games close together as such, and majority midweek or into the weekend. The Hounds came away with getting a win against Flint. Probably relieving to have that redemption from the last game they played against Flint.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, again, it's similar to the Saginaw game. Keegan Howdeshell has another 3 today, and
Yep.
that's a kid who's I believe he's got goals in like 8 of his last 9 games or 9 of his last 10 games now. He had 6 goals on the weekend, and he's a kid who's put up some big numbers, goal scoring wise this year. He's having the kid's having himself a year. And, again, he's a kid who's come through lately for the Greyhounds, and he's playing for a contract. He's playing for a look at from the pros, and he's definitely turned some heads, and he's a kid who John Dean has spoke really highly of, especially lately, but all year. So he's a kid who's come through, and it was just, it was a good all-around effort. There were parts of the second period that they weren't very pleased with, but, for the most part, they were happy with the game this afternoon as a whole.
Keegan Hoddleshell has 23 goals and 9 assists and 32 points in 29 games. Last year in 61 games, he had 16 goals, 20 assists for 36 points last year. Definitely on pace to shatter his last year records, of course. And big forward as well, 6'2", coming in at 210 pounds as well. And as you said, trying to get a look into the professional level. And if he keeps playing this way, he's definitely going to get those looks, and well-deserving so far this year. Having back-to-back nights with hat tricks is pretty fantastic. This week, Brad, they play Wednesday at 7:07. The Greyhounds do at the GFL Memorial Gardens. They play against Flint to complete the home-and-home, and that's at 7:07. Again, it's puck drop at the Gardens. They are also home this weekend. That is Friday, December the 7th. They play Friday night against the Guelph Storm at 7:07, and then they play against the Barrie Colts on Sunday at 2 o'clock at the Gardens, and they're set to go on the road next weekend, the weekend the 14th, 15th. But talking about going into this week, Brad, 3 games this week. What do the Hounds have to do to continue the success that they had, as you would say, this past weekend, winning the 2 games Saturday and Sunday, to continue the streak going and to have a good homestand?
You know what? I mean, it sounds so simple. It sounds easy, but just stick to the game plan. Just stick to the style and stick to the system, and if you do that, it works. This is a team that has implemented this style, and it's worked for them over the last 5 or 6 years, and this is a team that's getting some good efforts from some young guys as well. I mean, Alex Johnston, basically doubled his goal output this weekend. He had a couple of goals this weekend. He's a kid who, basically jumped into the lineup because Barrett Hayton was injured, and winds up scoring a couple of key goals. And special teams needs to be big too, and it was big all weekend. Both in Saginaw and Flint. A couple of shorthanded goals. I believe Keegan Hoddleshell had both shorthanded goals for them this weekend, and they were at key points in games, and the power play had some good looks, and that's all stuff that's that's going to need to be good here this week. And for the Greyhounds, it's they're looking for a big effort against Flint Wednesday and kind of keep this thing rolling, and then 2 tough games next weekend against Guelph and Barrie, and those are 2 pretty good teams. And Guelph we've already seen once here. That's a group that's given the Greyhounds a run this year, and the Barrie Colts are a solid hockey club over in the Eastern Conference. It's going to be the only time they're in the Soo this year. That's a good club with some pretty solid high-end talent in that group as well. So it's it's not going to be an easy weekend by any means, but if you stick to the system and you capitalize on your opportunities, you're going to have some success.
Absolutely. Now, Brad, last thing with the Sault Ste. Greyhounds, they're second in the Western Conference with 29 games, 17, 7, 4, and 1. They right now have 39 points. They are a total of 3 points behind the London Knights, who are 24 and 2 with 26 games. Guelph, who they see this weekend, is in third place at 34 points. Now, the Hounds, catching up to London. Is that a realistic goal to surpass London, or is London kind of showing that old school superiority London Knights team that we are familiar to seeing back pretty recently and for the last decade or so?
You know what? This is a London team that's playing extremely well, and they're only going to get better. That's a team that's going to add at the trade deadline.
Oh yeah.
they made some deals last year with that in mind, and they trade guys like Cliff Prue and Max Jones, and they traded Robert Thomas on the theory that they didn't expect him back in junior this year. Even though he's a 99 birth year, they didn't expect him back. And he winds up sticking in St. Louis. So that's a team that dealt some high end guys last year, and they brought in some real good young players. They bring in Nathan Dunkley. They bring in Connor McMichael. That's a team that's getting some good efforts. Their goaltending, former Greyhound Joseph Raby, has been really good, and Jordan Coy, who's a Vegas Golden Knights pick, has been real good for them too. That's a team that's good and only going to get better going forward. They're not going to be easy to catch by any team in the Western Conference right now. So it's it's going to be tough. That's a team that's going to be real good going forward here.
Yeah, the London Knights looking like the old London Knights. So just a quick thing to say about the Eastern Conference. The Ottawa 67 still lead the Ontario Hockey League 22-3-1 for 48 points. And shout out to Sudbury Wolves, captained by the Pilon, 17-8-1-1, 36 points there for the Sudbury Wolves. Now Ottawa obviously kind of running away of sorts with the Eastern Conference there, but Ottawa definitely, as we saw here in the Soo, very exciting and good hockey team to watch. The OHL, still a lot of season left, listeners, and it's going to get even more exciting. Get out and support the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. Now, Brad, just another couple minutes here just to do a quick little your opinion with the Soo Thunderbirds. Winning about 9 in a row now for the Soo Thunderbirds. They've been playing some real good hockey. They played short bench tonight as well when they were playing over in Espanola. They have a couple injuries that they're battling. They're still, in terms of concussion, that Luke Casterio had a Charlie horse injury today. Then they're still missing Barzin with the suspension, but he's due to come back in just a couple of games. The Soo Thunderbirds finding that success and obviously kind of leading the way here with the NOJHL in the Western side. Having a lot of game in hand. They have 44 points. They have 3 more games, or less games, than Rayside does. They're 22-5-0-0 this year so far. Like you said, they're playing some really good hockey. And actually, to be corrected, they're actually won 8 in a row. So the team's real hot right now, and they're going into another 3-game weekend. Pretty exciting time if you're a Soo Thunderbird.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, this is a team that's, they're scoring a ton of goals. This is a team that's one of the most offensive teams in the league, and they have the league's top 3 scorers right now, and that's with Lucas Terrio missing the game today. That's a team that's just been really good offensively, and they've been good in their own zone as well for the most part. It's a team that scores a lot and doesn't give up a lot, and that's certainly a recipe for success in any league. And this is a Thunderbird team that's playing some really good hockey. I mean, they're the top team in the NOJHL for a reason right now, and this is a team that's doing it in all 3 zones, and that's absolutely massive for them.
Definitely a big weekend this weekend. It's always exciting when the Soo Thunderbirds play against the Sault Ste. Marie Eagles. A little home-and-home action there. Friday Polar, Saturday here at the John Rhodes before they go to Rayside on Sunday. In the Game Sports Show, we'll be covering both the Hounds and the Thunderbirds this weekend. The Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. Brad, I know you're a very busy guy. That's all we're going to be able to talk about today. When we come back next week, hopefully you can join us on Thursday from North Superior Brewing Company. I know that's a long shot when it comes to Thursday nights for you now at the time that we're in Northern. But either way, we will talk to you sometimes this week and get you either on the Thursday show from North Superior Brewing Company or on next Sunday edition of Icebreakers, or on both if we're lucky. So I want to say thanks for stopping on by and taking the time to come on the phone with us today.
Sounds good, buddy. Looking forward to next week.
Thank you again, Brad. It's always a great time to have the best-looking guy on this panel, I will say. Always stop by. Listeners, we have more to cover here on the Game Sports Show. You got me for the remainder of the show. We're going to do a little recap with the Soo College Cougars hockey. And I kind of want to throw a little bit of my opinion out there for the William Nylander contract. That's going to give a little bit of a teaser to go into our Thursday show. Very smart man, Kyle Dubas is. Sault Ste. Marie need of Kyle Dubas. Very, very good signing. I think there's a little thing that's in the works when it comes to this signing. So don't go anywhere. Got a bit more to cover on this Icebreakers edition, powered by Northern Superior Brewing Company and Icebreakers Sports Bar and Grill. Don't go anywhere.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank a list of additional sponsors. North Shore Sports and Auto, new location located on 647 McDonald Avenue, Sault Ste. Marie. A family-owned and operated business with doing business in Sault Ste. Marie for over 10 years. Loads of products available for your enjoyment for all seasons. North Shore Sports and Auto, we understand the importance of quality service and products, and we work hard to ensure that all customers have a positive experience before and after each and every sale. North Shore Sports and Auto, meeting all of your new and pre-owned equipment needs. Special thanks to Salon. The Salon, located on 589 2nd Line East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Mike Cuglietta. Book your appointment today at 705-941-9191 or via online at https://thesalonsoo.as.me-. The Salon, making the Soo beautiful, one haircut at a time. As well as a shout out to the Soo Pee Wee Pro Shop. The Soo Pee Wee Pro Shop, located inside the Community First Credit Union Soo Pee Wee Arena on 285 Northern Avenue East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Jeremy Paquin and ran by Larry Monroe. Soo Pee Wee Pro Shop, for over 40 years, meet all of your skate sharpening, skate repair, and hockey needs. Also to Discover the Canvas. Discover the Canvas, located on 317 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. A beautiful, new renovated building owned and operated by expert artist and Sioux native Katrina Thibodeau. Katrina taking her talents of the ink in Sault Ste. Marie and truly creating the best and most realistic art locally. Call Katrina today at 705-450-8099 or email her at discoverthecanvas@gmail.com to book your tattoo or consultation today.
Hi, this is Paul Maurice from the Winnipeg Jets, and you're listening to the Game Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Yours truly, David McCaig, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, national sports show. You're listening to the Game Sports Show on thegamesportshow.com, thegamesportshow.podbean.com, or on the Scott Nason YouTube channel. You may have also got here through our Facebook page or our Instagram page. And I want to say thank you again to the listeners for making us a part of your night. We have some more news to update in terms of local sports before we get to our little bonus topic for a teaser for our Thursday edition. That will be one of the topics we'll be discussing in Northern Superior Brewing Company edition of the show. But first, we're going to jump into the weekend recap here with the Soo College Cougars hockey. They played against Oakland on Friday at the Rankin Arena, winning it by a score of 10-2. Then they played Saturday, December the 1st, which was yesterday, at the Rankin Arena as well, winning by a score of 9-1. Pretty effective weekend for the Sioux, obviously staying with a pretty convincing win, outscoring Oakland 19-3 throughout this weekend. And we have Coach Mike Hall coming on by this week on Thursday to discuss this weekend's games in further detail and also the upcoming games for the Soo College Cougars. And aren't they off to a very exciting start? They are 14-2-1 on the season so far. That's an 8-5-3 winning percentage. Now, Soo College, Ryan Vennerman obviously being one of the highest scorers, but a lot of good talent to watch on that ice between Austin Rowe to Sony with Ryan Vennerman and with Kalen O'Flynn. A lot of good talent to watch the Soo College Cougars as well, so make sure to go out and enjoy some Soo College Cougars hockey when you get the chance as well. You can check out their men's hockey schedule on www.SooCougars.ca. Schedule is very easy to follow, like it is to follow for the Lake Superior State University Lakers schedule, very similar to as such, and you can follow them on there to make sure you're able to make games here that are locally. They are home against Saginaw Valley Friday, December 14th and 15th. From what I recall, on the previous edition of the Game Sports Show live at North Superior Brewing Company on Thursday when we had Kalen O'Flynn on, there were games in there against Davenport, but we're going to get some further information to see if this is just a typo on their website or if those games has in fact been canceled and get that into further detail. Now, moving on to the bonus topic tonight here for the Icebreakers edition of the Game Sports Show that's also powered by Northern Superior Brewing Company. William Nylander. I think I spoiled it at the beginning of the show when I said the watch is over and one of the big topics we're going to be talking about on Thursday. I don't want to dive into this too much because I know myself, Justin, and Dane, and hopefully even if Brad is able to make himself a part of that show on Thursday via live on location or on telephone, that this is going to be a big discussion, because yours truly has been sitting here discussing about William Nylander since the beginning of summer, and I've been saying this exact point for the past year since the show was back at Boston Pizza last January. In January 2018, January 4th was our first show at Boston Pizza, when I was actually admittedly saying on air and here on Podbean page and through all of our listeners that William Nylander signing and those contracts are going to be very iffy for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but the big thing for Toronto is getting defense. That is an issue. That is a big issue. Defense is needed for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Okay, and I have said until I've been blue in the face, yelling on this microphone, been talking to friends, been talking to other scouts, been talking to other coaching staff, other radio analysts, media experts, friends just in general, that Toronto needs defense, and William Nylander is the perfect trade bait for it. William Nylander has signed a 6-year, $41.77 million contract with the Toronto Maple Leafs. To break down this contract, for this year, they'll be making $10.21 million will be William Nylander. The Leafs had approximately $14 million-ish around in space in terms of cap, so there isn't too much of a hit there. And at the deadline, if they want to trade for a defenseman, they can do so by getting them to have a bit more cap, or they'll still have the room based on the year remaining. So, at the end of the day, I'm not too upset about this 1 year here. You look at years 2 and 6. Those years in there between years 2 to 6. $6.97 million cap hit. All right. William Nylander has been putting up good numbers in the National Hockey League. Decent numbers. He is actually making more than Nathan MacKinnon is right now, if people want to bring up this point. Yes, maybe Nathan MacKinnon had a different time when he signed or whatever, but I'm sorry, Nathan MacKinnon's one of the top 5 in the National Hockey League players, if not even higher than that right now. So I must say William Nylander is making Nathan MacKinnon money. James Van Riemsdyk is making 7.2. How do you justify that? This money in terms of contracts can really tie up a hockey team. I am not saying that William Nylander screwed over the Toronto Maple Leafs. When you think about this, okay, let's really break this down. When they signed William Nylander this year, that $10 million, that alleviated the cap pressure going forward into the next additional years. Okay? $6.97 million for the years 2 to 6. Kyle Dubas is actually a genius. He has signed William Nylander to an amazing contract here that doesn't put Toronto in a tight spot. When Patrick Marleau retires, which is after next year's when he's projected to retire, his contract expires, and Jake Gardner's contract expiring this year, you got to really think, all right, when Matthews and Marner signed their contracts this year, you got to think Marner's thinking about $8.5 million maybe like Leon Draisaitl money. And then maybe Matthews wants McDavid money, but we know that that's probably not going to happen if he wants to remain in Toronto. So I think Matthews will be signing about 10, 10.2 in between that Tavares money, so 10 to 11. But I really think he's going to sign a 6-year, $60 million contract is what Matthews is going to sign, and Marner will sign a 6-year, $8.5 million per contract. It's kind of what they're going to sign for. With some guys moving on, this will still allow Toronto to be able to re-sign Kasperi Kapanen to a reasonable amount of money, and also Frederik Andersen when his contract expires, and also Morgan Riley. They'll be able to sign these core guys, but it's those depth guys they're really depend on. You got the Travis Dermotts. You got the certain guys come up the ranks like Carl Grundstrom. They have some good prospects that they hope really, really pan out. Okay, but I'm kind of getting off topic here when it comes to the William Nylander discussion. I only got a couple more minutes before I have to wrap up tonight's show, because I'm not going to get into too much detail because we have lots to cover on our Thursday show about this. I want to say this contract is actually a perfect contract that Kyle Dubas has structured. I am not mad. It makes sense. It doesn't put Toronto in a tight spot. Now, do I think William Nylander should compare his deal to Nathan MacKinnon or JVR? No, it's different times, different days. Things change like the weather in the National Hockey League. But I will say that I even think that it's a little bit high to pay William Nylander $6.9, but based on the term, it does make sense. And Dubas is a genius for spacing out this cap hit. He is a damn genius, and it's great that he's from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. So shout out from the Game Sports Show to Kyle Dubas that this was, I think, a great signing. However, I think this is just a setup for something else. Will William Nylander remain in Toronto for the entirety of that contract? Let's really think about that. Based on what I just said, that they're able to probably sign him and keep these guys, Is there a chance that they might pursue moving him? If it's at this deadline or the next deadline. Very affordable cap hit. There's some teams that would love to have William Nylander. There's some young guys that Toronto may pursue. Higher draft picks. We shall see. But I'm sure Dubas has it in his mind that he could really keep William Nylander and all these guys. And I hope he's able to keep all the guys. That's kind of what I'm hoping based on this good contract. But I'm sure in the back of his mind, there's an option for potentially considering trading him. And that's why this contract is so attractive. It's tradable, very movable, and also it's possible to keep him along with the core guys as well. Now that's all I'm going to say when it comes to William Nylander topics and discussion. We've talked about a lot here on the Game Sports Show on the Icebreakers edition, powered by North Superior Brewing Company as well here. And we're going to save the rest of this NHL discussion, especially with William Nylander, for our Thursday show. Again, myself, Scott Nason, EJ Russell, and Butch Davis will be at the Wicked Sister tomorrow night, 6 to 8 from the Game Sports Show live on Eagle 95.1 from 6 to 7, 7 to 8 on the Podbean page. Wednesday will be at Sports Center Bar and Grill. Myself, Jamie, Matt, and also hopefully Dustin and Dane are able to make an appearance. We also have planned for Nathan Intercontinental Inch to come on by as well. Thursday will be at North Superior Brewing Company. Will, myself, Justin, and Dane, and hopefully Brad Coccimiglio, along with Mike Hall, be one of the guests, the Soo College Cougars hockey coach. And also, we'll be doing a special edition upload with Craig Hartsburg this week as well. We plan that to be on Tuesday night, or it might be part of our Thursday upload show from North Superior Brewing Company. Lastly, we will be here throughout the weekend at Icebreakers between Friday and Saturday, and also at the GFL Memorial Gardens, but we will be doing our whole weekend recap as we will be going forward here from Icebreakers at 9 o'clock on Sunday. Now, I want to say thanks to Scott Nason, our board operator tonight, to you, the listeners, for stopping on by, and to Icebreakers Sports Bar and Grill, in particular, Jody Wilson and Mitch Wilson, for making us a part of their night here and being a part of the Game Sports Show and being yet another home to the Game Sports Show. And I want to say thanks to all of our sponsors that contribute here on the Game Sports Show: the Icebreaker Sports Bar and Grill, Sports Center Bar and Grill, Northern Superior Brewing Company, Silver Creek Golf Course, Discover the Canvas, Northern Careers in Need, Big Brother Big Sister, The Salon, the Superior Pro Shop, Ken Belanger Hockey, Northern Signs, also the Wicked Sister, and Pingator Cleaners for being a part of the show. And lastly, North Shore Sports and Auto as well for being a part of the show. And congratulations to my cousin and owner and operator of North Shore Sports and Auto with my other cousin, Jordan Roquetta, Ryan Roquetta, on getting engaged just recently as well. So shout out to Ryan on his engagement. Very exciting time. That is indeed. Congratulations to Ryan and to Sarah for their engagement. Now, listeners, getting to the conclusion portion. And until tomorrow night at the Wicked Sister, make sure to keep your stick on the ice, swing your bats, catch a touchdown, drain your threes, and shoot your shots. Booyah.